it looks a little dry, although it's a very hard surface. We might expect some bounce and carry, but not a lot of grass on this pitch.
Again, some movement, very faint, not a lot. Very different from what we saw at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. 4 runs on board already for Nepal. It's a fairly decent start.
Yeah, they need to ensure they don't lose wickets. That has been a big concern. Also, a lot of talk about the number of dot balls that they play in the ODI cricket. So that is something that the management will want to change, and so would the batters. They would want to rotate the strike a lot more, and seems like that is also the plan today, as they get 4 runs in the very first over. So good, solid, confident start. What do you make of this pitch, Neil?
Well, it's a lovely wicket to bat on. I can tell you the ball is coming nicely onto the bat, and that's why Junaid is looking to get that areas right. He's varied his lengths, he's varied his lines early on, and it's fair. It's a long format. You get an opportunity to settle in as a bowler, as a batter, and you should utilize that time. Much better delivery to finish off. Junaid Siddiqui. 1 over gone, 4 for none, Nepal. It's a fairly standard opening bowling attack for UAE now, with Rohit and Junaid. Getting the ball to nip away from the right-hander. Early movement for Rohit.
Yes, he's that kind of a bowler who likes to push the ball away, create that angle, and that's why you see 2 slips in place. Shoaib getting his second one-day international today. Did show what he is capable of with the bat. Scored a run a ball 27 and thereabouts, but did show some promise. And good to see Rahul Chopra back on the field. Was injured, had a niggle in that first game, but he seems to be all right now, and that's good news because they want their leader to be there in the side while they look to offset this winning spree of Nepal. They've won the last 5 one-day matches that they've played against UAE, so they clearly have an advantage going through, and I'm sure that will be on the mind of the UAE players as well. Some movement in the air and good carry for Rohit as he tries to create that angle yet again.
Well, yeah, Rohit has been successful in getting that ball to move, and he'd want to try and extract that movement from a little closer to the stumps. Completely against the plan. Wide being called. Yeah, you made an interesting point that last 5 games that UAE have played against Nepal, and Nepal has been on top, but the last game that was actually played between these two was in 2023. It was a different looking UAE unit. So I don't know if that should really bother. Stats are good for conversations, but when it comes to head-to-head performances, Rohit probably at that time was playing domestic. Rahul hadn't even made his debut in international circuit. Now he's the captain of the side. There have been a lot of changes that have happened at both ends. So, in my opinion, while Nepal definitely holds a higher ground as far as head-to-heads are concerned, but I don't think UAE would take a lot out of that. A lot of responsibility there for this man, Rahul, as the leader of the pack. Looking to change those stats, those numbers, will be this UAE side.
Yeah, they definitely would want to change that overall as well. Talking about numbers, 15 ODI matches played between the two sides. Nepal has won 9 of them. UAE has won 6. So they do have an advantage in terms of those numbers. But yes, a new day fresh game. Team that plays well will go on to win the game. Simple as that. Nicely bowled, some movement in the air.
Well, yeah, searching for that right length. Rohit. Fun fact, last game that they played against each other, last ODI, played in Harare, only 2 members of this current UAE side were a part of that squad. Aryan Sharma, the wicket keeper, he was there, and Junaid Siddiqui. So 9 new faces in this UAE side. Not as new, but not a part of that squad that played against Nepal then.
Yeah, two teams that have taken two very different or contrasting approaches. You talk about UAE, they had a very different team. Only 2 players, as you mentioned, were part of that last ODI. And if you talk about Nepal, only 3 players have been changed from that playing 11. So Nepal does like to back their players. They've given them a long run, an extended run. The results were in their favour in that previous cycle. They went on to win 11 matches in that previous cycle on the trot. And that is why they back their players. You can see Kushal Bhurtel is a prime example of that. Hasn't been amongst the run, but he's been given an extended run. So both these teams take different approaches, but the results have not come their way, both at the bottom of the points table.
Well, which one will... Junaid Siddiqui will continue with 2 slips and a squarish deep third. Straight to the deep third fielder, Haider Ali. Haider, in my opinion, is a very good addition to the side. Bowls well. Very good fielder. And I've loved his intent every time he takes the field.
He does bring a lot of value to the side, and he was a talent that was spoken of highly even before he got eligible to play for UAE. So he was always on the cards. They were waiting for him to get through those 3 years and then make his debut immediately as soon as he was available. So he comes with a reputation.
Slip's been taken off, but runs will come in towards the point region. Dhruv Parashar making the sprint, but the ball will win the race for runs.
But that's excellent timing from Kushal Bhurtel. Beautifully played on the up, doesn't try to hit it too hard. Let's look at that again. Just leans into that. Looks so pleasing to the eye every time he plays that shot. High back lift, gets good connection. The placement is impeccable between the 2 fielders. Opens the face of the bat ever so slightly and gets it past the boundary ropes for 4.
The first boundary of the day. And looking at the ball that's coming so nicely onto the bat, there could be a plenty more. Now defensively played beautifully. I love it when the batters get behind the line of the ball to play that defensive little push back to the bowler. Nepal on 12. This earlier today, Rohit Patel, the skipper of Nepal, won the toss, elected to bat first. I'm sure that Nepal is happy that they are playing here at the ICC Academy and not at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. They haven't had favourable results at the stadium. At the Academy, they would want to change that little string. Aerially played, and the ball drops in shot in front of Haider. As a bowler, Junaid would be thinking that Haider could have come up to take that catch. But the fielder will always have reasons, Shoaib.
Yeah, I thought that was half a chance, if not full. Anticipation is key. You can see that he did look to go for it, then decides to go against it and not go for the attempt. But yeah, that was a risky shot from Kushal Bhurtel. I'm sure he would have had his heart in his mouth because he's looking good so far. He's middled some really good deliveries and he would want to continue on that, build on that.
Half a chance in the very 3rd over of the day. He's trying to keep it away from the batter's arc. There's a slip in position. There is a gully. He wants him to go fishing, Junaid. And I reckon that's a good plot. invited Burtel to play that shot. He got successful, hit a boundary, and then played an aerial shot, almost carried. So somewhere there's a plan in Junaid's bowling there today.
Yeah, he's bowling just outside that offside channel, which is good. Maybe a surprising delivery that comes in would not be a bad idea.
Now cut it and cut it brilliantly. More runs on board. Asif Sheikh gets a boundary.
Looks like a very good wicket to bat on, but you still have to middle and time those deliveries. Asif has shown some intent. Short and wide, and he cuts it well, beats the fielder at point. No chance for anyone to stop that. Nepal are off to a very solid start, a very confident start. And it seems like Nepal might just get a very good total on the board in the first innings.
This is sensible cricket. You got a boundary on the previous delivery. Just push for a single and get done with it. 3 overs gone, Nepal. A fantastic start. 19 for none. Rohit to continue. Again the same channel. Wide outside off. And full. It's a classic plot over here between these two bowlers. They have decided to bowl in that zone outside off, slightly fuller, inviting the batters to go for that draw.
Yeah, just bowling outside off. Looks like it's going to be a lot of hard work for the bowlers here today, because the ball is coming onto the bat nicely, and you can see that these two batters are getting everything right from the middle of the bat. So it's going to be a batter's day, I feel, today. The runs that will be scored by Nepal in the first innings are going to be of prime importance. How many can they get on the board? They're off to a good start here. They'll want to build on it. 270, 280 seems to be a power score on this wicket. The way they've started, they should aim for that 270, 280 run mark.
Again, the same area. That fielder there, Zahid Ali, he'll be kept busy. The first, in fact, two of the first three deliveries have been played in that area. And I don't think that's a bad ploy. You keep making the batters play there every single time. There will be an error that will come through. Be consistent in your plans.
Driven a misfield at covers. Rahul Chopra will clean that up. He's not happy with that effort. Didn't bend enough. Yeah, he's not at his 100% yet. He's wearing a strap on his back, so he would want his fielders to give it their all. We saw a misfield in that previous game at a very wrong time for UAE in that close encounter against USA. They would not want to repeat that mistake again here. Fielding has to be at their 200%.
Yeah, dot ball pressure is something. Shoaib, the man in question on that boundary line that you're talking about. Second last over of that game. But you know, dot ball pressure is incredibly important. That shouldn't have been a single on that previous delivery. Should have been stopped. If you're standing at short extra cover, you're stopping the singles. Yeah, this is what it is. Rahul Chopra on that occasion. A dot ball to end the over. 4 overs gone, 23 for none. Looks like early introduction of spin there. Haider Ali. He's been brought in. Been talking about him a while back. That important cog in the wheel, a wicket-taking bowler. And he's
Oh,
got it! Very first delivery. Kushal Bhurtel castled, and Haider Ali, what a magician with the ball, is always brave to come in with the new ball, takes that opportunity, takes that chance and makes it count.
what a delivery. What a first up delivery to be bowling to Kushal Bhurtel. He didn't expect that turn. And Haider Ali, well, genius at work when it comes to bowling with the new ball. What a change, what a bowling change this has turned out to be. A master stroke from Rahul Chopra, as Nepal have lost their opener Kushal Bhurtel. 7 of 12, he looked good for those 7 runs, but that was a jaffa from Haider Ali. He walks back as Nepal lose their first wicket.
Very first ball and a wicket on that. Haider Ali has suddenly brought in some momentum in this game in favour of UAE. The runs that were scored against the pace bowlers as Bhim Sharkey comes into bat at number 3.
Yeah, very technically sound player, Bhim Sharkey. Do enjoy watching him bat in the ODI format. There's some turn. Now then, is UAE thinking of the spinners? That's the wicket of Kushal Bhurtel. He was perplexed, he was surprised with that delivery, and rightly so.
A similar one, but this time pitching in just on the leg and middle, straightening from there on.
Well, the UAE management will be thinking Simranjeet Singh, he's been rested today, not a part of the playing 11. They've opted for Dhruv Parashar, and Zahid Ali, the fast bowler, actually replaces him in that slot. They'll be wondering if that is the right decision now, looking at the kind of turn that Haider Ali is getting here on this wicket.
Well, yeah, I would be tempted to actually bring in Dhruv Parashar from the other end. If not as early as now, maybe in a couple of overs. Dhruv is a tall spinner, gets the ball to dip. Oh, look at that turn. Incredible. What an over this is turning out to be. A wicket on the first ball, and then questions after questions being posted on every single delivery.
Now, this has been an eventful over from Haider Ali. A wicket on the very first ball, and then consecutive dot balls. Could be a wicket maiden for Haider Ali. Takes the outside edge, and the ball trickles away towards the deep third. 2 runs on the last ball, but overall UAE will be pleased with Haider Ali's performance in the first over. Nepal 23 for 1 after 5.
Rohit will continue. Conceded 7 runs in his 2 overs, Mohammad Rohit. Trying to keep that channel or outside off activated. Alishan Sharfu, he has a job to do when it comes to bat. But currently it is the UAE bowlers who would have to stick to a plan to try and not concede a lot when it comes to bowling against Nepal. The shouts of oohs and ahs inviting him to go on the front foot and try and play a delivery that's angling away from the right-hander. You have to try and play with a straight bat instead of a slightly angled bat. We did see UAE lose their openers in a similar fashion. 2 slips in position, trying to play with an angled bat. Ended up giving a wicket. Slightly down the leg this time. Not the usual outside off delivery from Rohit.
Well, if I were Rahul Chopra, I would have looked around on the field looking for all the spinners that I can get on this wicket. I'm sure he's thinking about that already. They've got Dhruv Parashar, who can bowl. No Mohammad Shahzad, who bowled a few overs, but he's missed out today. They've got Harshit Kaushik, who can bowl as well, a left-arm spinner. So they'll be looking towards that strategy now. Not a lot of assistance for the fast bowlers. Normally Rohit would get some movement in the air, but that's too not visible today.
Well, yeah, that's why he's relying to get some movement off the deck. There was a drift through the air, but then after pitching the ball, just carried on in that same angle. 4 dot balls. All of a sudden, Nepal, after that loss of wicket, have gone on the mute mode. Letting it go. Now this is a time where you capitalize. As a bowling unit, you realize that you've got a wicket in that previous over, which was a very miserly over. Again in this over, 5 dot deliveries. Try and see if you can put pressure, not bowl a loose delivery to finish this. An opportunity to not just be satisfied with one, but pick another. Defensively played, a maiden over comes to an end. Very well bowled by Rohit. Nepal 23 for 1 after 6. Heather will continue. They got Mohammad Wasim in slips. An outside edge. Here's Heather, who picked up that wicket on the very first ball. Kushal Burtel continues his form with lack of runs. And this man, he continues with his golden arm.
Two slips in place now. That's interesting.
And rightly so. As the captain, you'd want to give as much support as you can to your bowlers. Put pressure on the batters. The previous delivery had gone in that same direction where Alishan Sharf was standing in the second slip. So you would want to give that kind of support. Rahul Chopra, I've loved his aggression and field setting as a captain in ODIs.
Yeah, looking to flight the ball now, inviting Bhim Sharki on the front foot. That's good bowling. Now, if Nepal look at these two players, and if they look a little deep into their stats and numbers against UAE, these two are very effective every time they've come out to bat. Especially Bhim Sharki. He averages 50 against UAE in the one-day format. Has a highest score of 70 as well. In just 6 matches, he scored 200 runs. So he does enjoy playing against the UAE. So that is something that Nepal would be very happy to know, would be banking on, the likes of Bhim Sharki, to weather this storm, this spin bowling attack from UAE. Because like we mentioned, it's Haider Ali who's the only prime bowler. Of course, Dhruv Parashar is there, but he's not a big turner of the ball. You might get some purchase of this wicket, but he's the danger man today in these conditions, Haider Ali.
A beautiful ball. Grip and turn early on. And Haider Ali will finish his over. 7 gone, 26 for 1.